Israel's Air Force is striking hard in Lebanon after Hezbollah breached the ceasefire agreement and fired 2 rockets at Israel on Friday morning. The Houthis in Yemen are still firing ballistic missiles at Israel, and President Trump has just issued a serious threat to Iran as they speed toward the creation of nuclear weapons. I'm Josiah Hilton, and this is the Israel Guys. The Houthis in Yemen on Friday morning launched another ballistic missile at Israel, triggering sirens across central Israel, including Tel Aviv. Now, millions of people had to seek shelter in bomb shelters. The missile, thank God, was intercepted by Israel's air defense systems, and no casualties were reported, although shrapnel from the interceptor landed in a soccer field, on rooftops, and cars in central Israel. Now, while the Houthi missile threats have not been too crazy because Israel just shoots down each missile one by one as they come, it is actually a huge miracle that Israel even has the capability to intercept these missiles before they strike Israeli soil. Imagine what it would be like in Israel if they did not have the aero defense and the Iron Dome systems. These missiles could cause significant damage to civilian life and infrastructure inside of Israel. Now, thank God for keeping his people safe from all of these missiles fired from Yemen. Now, the Houthis aren't the only ones firing missiles at Israel. Hezbollah seems to be waking up after a long nap for the ceasefire agreement. On Friday morning, Hezbollah launched 2 rockets at Israel's Kiryat Shmona in the north. The Iron Dome took down 1 rocket, and the other landed actually inside of Lebanese territory. Defense Minister of Israel, Israel Katz, responded to the rocket attack from Lebanon, saying, "Kiryat Shmona is treated like Beirut. If there is no peace in Kiryat Shmona, the Galilee communities, there will be no peace in Beirut either. The Lebanese government bears direct responsibility for any shooting at the Galilee. We will not allow a return to the reality of October 7th. We will ensure the security of the residents of the Galilee and will act forcibly against any threat." The IDF responded to these rocket attacks by striking Hezbollah hard, hitting command centers, terrorist infrastructure sites, launchers, and terrorists inside southern Lebanon. The IDF confirmed that it struck a terrorist infrastructure site used to store UAVs by Hezbollah's aerial unit in a suburb of the capital city of Beirut. Now, as per usual, before the IDF struck the site, they published a warning to the civilians in the area to evacuate the site. The IDF published a map in Arabic showing a building marked in red and warning the inhabitants in those buildings adjacent to it, saying, "You are near facilities belonging to Hezbollah. For your safety and the safety of your families, you are obliged to evacuate these buildings immediately and stay away from them at a distance of no less than 300 meters as shown on the map." Now, President Trump just issued a serious threat to Iran, one that could have devastating consequences should Iran not heed the warning. But first, the war in Israel has left many families in severe poverty. Brave IDF soldiers, fathers, husbands, and sons have returned home with life-altering injuries and deep trauma. Survivors of October 7th are struggling with unbearable loss, and many are unable to work. As we approach Passover, a holiday that celebrates freedom from bondage, too many in Israel remain trapped in the chains of poverty. Passover is a holiday that reminds us of resilience, faith, and responsibility to help those in need. This Passover, however, many are unable to put food on the table. Me'er Panim is a trusted organization that has helped hundreds of thousands of Israelis since the start of the war, including widows, orphans, single mothers, soldiers, and Holocaust survivors. This Passover, Me'er Panim is providing thousands of gift cards so that families can purchase food for the holidays. Over 25,000 ready-made meals for those who cannot cook or access food on their own. Over 100,000 pantry bags with staple foods to ensure no families goes hungry. This Passover, imagine the lives you're touching by providing a safe refuge, warm meals, and critical supplies. Your generosity reminds the people of Israel that they are not forgotten. Visit Israel-donate.org today or click the link in the description below to stand with Israel and help bring freedom from the bondage of poverty this Passover. U.S. President Donald Trump threatened Iran with bombing and tariffs if they do not make a deal with America concerning their nuclear program. Last week, the Iranians rejected direct negotiations with the U.S., but in some remarks made by President Trump yesterday, he indicated that Iranian and U.S. officials were talking, although he did not explain through which channel. On whether or not Iran would make a deal or not, Trump said this: "If they do not make a deal, there will be bombing. It will be a bombing the likes of which they have never seen before." He also said, "There is a chance that if they don't make a deal, that I will do secondary tariffs on them like I did 4 years ago." Now, although these statements seem to be at face value two different approaches to solving the issue, if President Trump applied tariffs, that could lead to bombing if Iran does not stop their nuclear program. Last week, in an unusual deployment by the U.S. Air Force, the U.S. sent several B-2 Spirit bombers to a U.S. air base in the Indian Ocean. Although the U.S. has not specified what these stealth bombers are for, many speculate that they are sending a loud message to Iran that the U.S. is serious about not letting Iran obtain nuclear weapons. Israel is also very serious about no nuclear capabilities for Iran, and for good reason. Iran constantly threatens to destroy Israel, and just in the last 12 months alone, Iran has conducted 2 large ballistic missiles attacks against the tiny Jewish state. Recently, Israel's foreign minister Gideon Sa'ar told Politico, in order to stop a nuclear Iranian program before it is weaponized, a reliable military option should be on the table. Now, there have been no specifics from the Trump administration as to whether a possible bombing of Iran's nuclear facilities would be in coordination with Israel or if the U.S. would act alone. Iran, surprisingly, is not happy about these remarks by President Trump. This morning, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said that if the U.S. acted upon these threats, there would be a strong blow in retaliation. Khamenei said, quote, "The enmity from the U.S. and Israel has always been there. They threaten to attack us, which we don't think is very probable, but if they commit any mischief, they will surely receive a strong reciprocal blow." Now, I'm not sure how serious this counter threat from Iran's supreme leader is without Iran's acquisition of nuclear weapons, which could be another indicator that this terror regime is closer than we think to obtaining nuclear capabilities. As Iran loses power in the Middle East with the recent weakening of Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis in Yemen, it is clear that they are trying everything possible to acquire nuclear capabilities as fast as possible. Just last week, a report came out that Iran could be as near as 1 week away from creating a nuclear bomb. General Anthony Cotton, head of the U.S. Strategic Command, told the Senate Armed Services Committee that Iran reduced its breakout time, which is the period needed to enrich enough uranium from one bomb, from 10 to 15 days to presumably less than 1 week. Cotton said, quote, "The Islamic Republic of Iran continues to expand its nuclear program by increasing its stockpile of highly enriched uranium and deploying additional advanced centrifuges. Tehran has reduced the time required to produce sufficient weapons-grade uranium for a nuclear device." Now, according to Ynet News, the International Atomic Energy Agency said Iran now possesses enough 60% enriched uranium to produce 6 nuclear bombs if it decides to enrich further. Experts are saying reaching weapons-grade enrichment from this point can be done relatively quickly. It remains to be seen what will happen with Iran, if they will indeed keep speeding forward towards a nuclear capability, or if they will agree to a deal with the U.S. But one thing we do know is that Israel and the United States are keeping a very, very close eye on them. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to donate to Meir Panim. Link is in the description below. Subscribe. Get the conversation going. We love interacting with you guys down in the comment section below. And if you'd like to support our work here at The Israel Guys, head over to theisraelguys.com/donate. And as always, stop listening to those lies and propaganda and connect with the truth of what is happening here in Israel. We'll be back soon here at The Israel Guys.